Hi, folks. Welcome to a special stream. I am Stephen from the Thunderpop podcast, who I've been on several times, but I've never had the pleasure of having on my own channel. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is a.
I love this. Yeah.
I know. Now, in the past, I've come over on your channel. We've talked Star
hmm
Wars, and a lot of the times, the last few times, we have talked
Yeah.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, we had some Cobra Kai convos um, during that show's run.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Mhm.
And now Cobra Kai is done.
Yeah.
I believe I text you and told you what I thought. I thought it was a good ending to a good overall good series.
Yeah.
Had a few bumps in the road here and there, but overall it was
hmm
fine. It basically
hmm
took a break. It was one of two times I think
Yeah.
I've ever seen a brand come back and be better than ever. The other one would be Top Gun 2.
Top
I
Gun Maverick. Yeah, Top Gun did
yeah,
that too, didn't they?
I did not think everyone's saying, "Oh, Maverick's so good," and I was thinking, "Yeah, guys, the pandemic's getting over. You guys just want to see a movie. You're kind of
hmm
overreacting." That's what I thought there. And when we walked out of that theater, I was like, "I can't believe how good that was. That was even better than the first one." And you don't get to
hmm
say that often. But
No.
if they pay attention to the subject material
Yeah.
and they honor the previous characters and what came before, which is
hmm
what Cobra Kai did,
Yeah.
then you end up having a pretty fantastic reunion, which these days, anytime they're saying, "Hey, we're getting the game back for another season," well, then I'm cringing because I don't think it's going to be that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There,
No, I agree because usually it is a disappointment, and I'm trying to think of some. Remember back when they used to try to do those TV reunions of like the Andy Griffith Show
yep,
or
yep.
Mayberry? I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
Return to Mayberry. That
Return to
was the
Mayberry.
first. That was the first reunion movie they ever did, and
Yeah.
got stellar ratings. So that's what brought back all the other, like the Dukes
Yeah.
of Hazzard movie and the whatever movie,
They would do
Matlock
one
movie.
to every show that was popular. They would eventually get a reunion, like a TV, not in the theaters, and we didn't have streaming
Right.
back then, so they would do it on television. And a lot of the popular shows did get their own like reunion movie. Some of them even got reunion shows. I mean, there's deep cuts, but there's like shows like What's Happening Now, which was like a sequel to the original What's Happening TV show.
Yeah.
They
I
did
forgot about that one.
WKRP in Cincinnati did a second run for a little while with another version of of that original show. So they did have those back then, but a lot of them weren't very good.
No,
The
they
one
weren't very good.
I did like a very Brady Christmas though.
There you go. A very Brady Christmas.
hmm
Yeah, I felt that Cobra Kai did what very few things did. Melissa, I see your comment here that you wish they would have done for Star Wars what Cobra Kai did. Yeah, if they would have
hmm
understood some of more source material, understood the characters better, and the
Yeah.
world of, and obviously those guys are huge fans. When I was first, and I said this on your podcast, when I was first sitting there watching Cobra Kai, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting much. Probably
No.
some remember berries, hey, remember this?
hmm
Oh, here's a joke we recycled again. I wasn't
hmm
expecting much. And what I saw floored me. Floored me. It was so good.
It didn't.
And
Yeah, it was way better than they ever would imagine or that it deserved to be. Some critics said it's way better than it deserves to be, which I don't know
yeah,
what that means, but that's what some of them
I-
said.
it's exactly right. And Raging
hmm
Rhino's here. Hello, Raging Rhino. This is a show, Raging Rhino. If you haven't seen Cobra Kai, you should. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely. If you miss Cobra Kai, go back. It's on Netflix, all the seasons. Us early adapters to Cobra Kai had to go on YouTube, the original YouTube streaming service. It was YouTube Red, I think,
yeah,
and then they changed it, rebranded to YouTube Premium, and now that's defunct. That went
yeah, that's
away.
done now.
That was where the first, maybe the second season of Cobra
Two
Kai was.
seasons. Yeah,
Yeah, was
I
on
think
that.
so.
So we were watching it on YouTube for the first
Yeah.
two seasons. Then when that YouTube Premium folded, they moved it over to Netflix, which thank you,
Well,
Netflix.
they sold to Netflix because out of all the
Mhm.
shows they tried, this was the only good one, and
Mhm.
that it made it on YouTube Red. Is back what it
Mhm.
was called back then.
Mhm.
That means that there were several other people who passed on this YouTube Red
Yeah.
wasn't the big buck channel back then.
No, for them to end
They-
up on YouTube Red, that you wouldn't think that would be the first landing spot to get their biggest potential audience.
Yeah, and so that it got passed up by a lot of people. People didn't believe in it, and yet the following that it got, the scenes. There are some fantastic scenes.
Yeah.
There's some fantastic scenes. Now, the only thing I will say about YouTube Red, they had to cut costs on some new people. They discovered one really good guy, which was Miguel. He's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
He's
and
fantastic.
he still has a huge potential in Hollywood for
he
being a
does.
breakout star. He was the Blue Beetle in the
Yep.
DC EU, and he's one of the few characters, from my understanding, that's going to be brought over to the new DC universe from the old DC universe, and they're going to use him in the new stuff as well. In fact, James Gunn's teased that you're going to be seeing that Blue Beetle soon.
Good, because I mean he's a really good guy and he's a really good actor in this. The other actors are okay; they have their moments. Some of them just age, and it just because we didn't get the right person at the very beginning. We didn't know how big the show was going to be.
Yeah.
They didn't have the acting chops when they're going up against some other big time actors. And I'll be honest, LaRusso and oh my goodness, Johnny are fantastic. They're fantastic. They're not.
Their chemistry together, and William Zabka, way underutilized in Hollywood, which was proven from this show. I hope he goes on and does some other stuff. I hope he gets another series in the future, doing some kind of playing a Johnny-esque type character with like in a comedy type action comedy. I hope he's appreciated for what he did on this show and gets if he wants to continue on, I hope he gets to do something cool.
Oh yeah, me too. A lot of these actors who came back for this, but Thomas Ian Griffith was another one that just shocked me. How great he was.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he was outstanding. Yeah.
As Terry Silver, he did fantastic and really
huge payoff.
Really, yeah.
What are they saved him. How many seasons did they wait to bring him out finally?
Oh, was he season 3 or 4? He was 4, maybe.
Yeah, they might have brought him. They waited a little while on him, which was great. They made that moment earned. They made us earn the moment with Terry Silver, and then they built that up.
And about the only thing that they didn't do, and they tried, they said, but was to involve Next Karate Kid, which is not a good movie. But to be fair, Karate Kid 3 is very over the top. However, they incorporate that into the canon flawlessly.
Oh, and that was one of the best parts of Cobra Kai, actually, is how they incorporated that.
Yeah,
incorporated that. Yeah,
incorporated. There you go. But the other thing was that Terry Silver was an over the top villain in Karate Kid 3. If you go back and watch, you'd be like, what is he doing? But then they just resolved that with one line in Cobra Kai where he says,
the best parts.
Lots of drugs in the 80s.
Cocaine, was it cocaine? Cocaine reference?
Cocaine,
which fits perfect with that character. The ponytail, the wealthy young guy in the 80s with a hot tub and the ponytail of course.
Where do you want this toxic sludge, sir? Dump it in the river. I mean, that is actually a line, I think. Over there. So Cobra Kai, really silly, but then they brought it together, gave it some weight, really did awesome. So now the series is wrapped. We also got news that while the final series was being filmed, that they were also working on a movie.
Yeah.
And it was only going to star LaRusso, which, okay, that's okay if that's what you want to do. Maybe this will lead to more. It'll be tying in Jackie Chan's Karate Kid. Okay, that's fine because they've tied in other ones too.
Yeah,
I'm fine with them meeting.
Yeah,
and then well, it's not going to contradict Cobra Kai, but it's not going to be a continuation of the story. I was like, well, okay, it probably can't because this one's going to have Jackie Chan's story. Yeah, so they got to resolve the story. Okay,
different story arc. Different story arc. Yeah,
I'm still fine at this point.
Yeah, me too. Although I'm a little bit I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess would be how I felt about when I heard about the movie. I was still very cautious about anticipating it because the Cobra Kai guys are not involved in it.
Right. Yeah, and that was mine too. That was mine too. That was my only drawback. I was like, okay, but surely I thought, my foolishness. I thought they've seen Cobra Kai. They know what formula works.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be, they should be able to knock this one out of the park.
Yeah,
That's
they should be.
That's what I was thinking. Because I mean, you know the story, you know that the story can work, you know there's renewed interest. I mean, Cobra Kai gave the Karate Kid franchise a new lease on life.
Right.
Okay. So they've breathed life into this series. There's nothing Hollywood loves more than a franchise, baby. You got to franchise it till it dies. So making a movie, bringing in Jackie Chan's character, good move. And hopefully these guys were going to take care of it because, you know, they say all the proper things in the interview. Oh, fans are going to be very happy. I was like, well, I hope so, because fans have been happy for a couple of years now with Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
It is one of, on my podcast, it's one of my top 5 movies I announced at the beginning of the year that I couldn't wait to see.
Excited to watch. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then it came out.
Yeah.
And
I went and saw it. I went and saw it opening weekend. I don't know if you
I did too. I did too. Opening weekend.
Sunday. We went and saw a Sunday matinee. Dropped my son off at Meemaw and Peepaw's, and we went to the theater over near my parents where they live, town, an hour from where we're at. We took him down there and dropped him off, and we went to lunch. This dinner movie house. It has burgers.
Yeah,
Film Alley.
There you go. Film Alley.
Give Film Alley a shout out. A family-owned movie establishment that has a small movie chain. Only, I think, 4 or 5 locations across Texas. Yeah, give them a shout out.
Nice. Yeah, I saw it on Friday night, and so excited. And
yeah,
my wife and I, when it was almost over, that mid-scene credit, like shortly after the exit, I told her, I said, well, that was awful. And then, of course, the best scene is at the end.
Yeah.
Which I sadly, it's the little Cobra Kai reference, which sadly is the only time I ever laughed in the movie.
Yeah.
And what's even sadder, that was all ad-lib between the two characters. They were just ad-libbing.
Yeah. It highlighted the potential a movie could have had if they had done the movie the way they were supposed to. So here's what I kind of was thinking, because I knew we were going to do this today. And again, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
I knew we were going to be having this talk today, so I was kind of reconnecting to the whole experience of seeing the movie and what my disappointments were and what the shortcomings were and what could have been. I thought about a lot today about what could have been, because I've already moved past the failure of the movie. So now I kind of today was processing it more and what they should have done. And one of the things I thought about, first of all, they had a really good opportunity with Cobra Kai. They had a lot of great. They had good faith from the fan base with what they did with Cobra Kai, that if they had built off of something from that. And I think they had this whole storyline in the final season of Cobra Kai with Miyagi and his storied past, and how there were some question marks behind it that suddenly came to Danielson's knowledge that he did not know about of this mysterious dark past of and I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but we know
we can do spoilers. I'll go ahead and just say spoilers at this part and free you, because there's a few things I want to talk about that's going to spoil it too.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go right there. Go right into it. There was this dark past supposedly that Danielson was learning about. That was a big part of the final season. I think they should have left something unresolved with that.
Agreed.
That would have been a great point of storytelling for the movie if they had made that the kind of more of the point. And they already were using Miyagi as a kind of a way to connect Jackie Chan's character to Ralph Macchio's character and their two worlds and how they would connect the two worlds. So they already used that. I think they should have built on that more than they did and leave it. So then I think here's the thing. I'm starting, and I hate to say it, but I started to get a little bit. I think that they've leaned too heavy on the same template for these movies. The bully, the big tournament, the kid.
Well,
in the city, new in the city. Like they
Right.
basically follow that. I wanted to see, I think there's so much potential for taking the story, and Cobra Kai proved that, taking the story into some different directions. I think that an adventure movie with Danielson going back to Okinawa one more time, because there's some unresolved issues with Miyagi, would have been a better angle. If they had saved a little bit of that, he had to go back to Okinawa because there was one more thing, and then gets into some entanglements there. They
Mhm.
could have still introduced Jackie Chan into that, and that would have been
Mhm.
really cool to have this
Well,
adventure, martial arts adventure movie with Danielson, Jackie Chan, this new kid. Could have been, they could have written
yeah.
him in still to this character.
Yeah.
The Joshua Jackson boxing dad pizza was just so silly to me.
Yeah, it was a
I
little
did not
silly.
like that. I did not
There
like that.
there's a lot of things wrong. First off, this movie is trying to be a spiritual sequel to the Jackie Chan's movie,
Yeah.
which it can't be because it's a different kid and everything.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan should have something to do. But it goes on this
Mhm.
kid who goes to New York, and what does he do? The bully. Remember, bully sticks his hands in his pockets and
Mhm.
beats him. With his hands in his pockets, the bully beats him easily.
Mhm.
So later on, literally 30 or 20 minutes later in the film, after that scene, yeah, it's got to be 20 minutes later, I bet.
Mhm.
He fights off all those street guys.
Yeah.
Remember, he takes on a whole, what, 3 or 4 guys in an alley?
It was just so, I mean,
And they're
90
thugs.
they
They're
there was,
people who know how to fight.
yeah,
So
there was 90 minutes of just rushing through. It was more like a highlight reel than a movie.
but he couldn't even beat the kid with his hands in his pockets, and now we're
Yeah.
supposed to believe he's the awesome
Right.
fighter and that the
Right.
boxer wants him to train him. Why? He can't beat what? He should ask this other karate guy to go teach him because that guy beat him without hands in his
Yeah.
pockets. He said, "You've already said this guy needs more training, and it's okay if he needs more training,
Yeah.
but they already established he's very well trained, but he doesn't know karate or whatnot, or Miyagi-Do karate."
Mhm.
But so, of course, there's the tournament is over the top, kind of silly, but it's
Mhm.
fine. Again, I'm fine with that, but you got to give some story. I felt like Jackie Chan, Daniel Russo, they had basically probably 1 week with these actors because they're
Yeah.
hardly in it,
Yeah.
and they don't have any camaraderie except that Jackie Chan went to go visit him to ask for help. Daniel said no, and then Daniel shows up and goes, "Okay, let's go." And then there's a bunch of training montages where they're kind of looking at each other
Mhm.
and looking, two branches, one
Yeah.
tree. Okay, no, 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 no. I need more than that. I need
Yeah.
some relationship building. You put these people on the poster, and for the
Yeah.
first hour, you made us sit and watch this new kid who has
Yeah.
no connection to the no connection to the franchise. He's brand
Mhm.
new in the movie.
Yeah.
Even Rocky knew that you can't let Creed go out on his. If Creed would have gone out on his own on his first
Mhm.
movie, it'd have bombed in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
It would have bombed. You got to have Rocky Balboa there for the first two, and then the third one
To
comes out.
establish.
You
Yeah.
got to establish it. You got to move. You got to put some familiarity. This is what the whole thing about a
Mhm.
legacy is: the old passing
Yeah.
down to the new. But you can't force the audience to love and embrace the new.
Even
Sometimes
Top Gun, if Tom Cruise had put out the Top Gun 2 movie with him barely being in it and set up and put all these new characters
Yeah,
out there and say, here are these
exactly.
characters and enjoy, and people would have not connected to that, and it would have just bombed. It would have probably bombed. And he knew
Exactly.
someday they could do a Top Gun continuation with other characters, but because now they've kind of set up a new thing to
Yeah,
that,
a
a
new
new
group.
a new
Yeah, a
group of
new group to
people,
follow. Yeah.
new characters. They got the Glenn Powell character, and they have these other characters that were part of the new Top Gun. So he could definitely go and start to build that.
Yeah, and so that it was just a hodgepodge of stuff, and it felt so rushed at the end. It's like,
Yeah.
hurry,
Oh
let's
yeah.
train him. Let's train him all these silly little. They don't even mean anything. They're silly little
Yeah.
antidotes that they have to teach him, and then he wins the tournament as expected,
Right.
and that's
course.
the end.
That's
And
it.
it's so bad, except for the we already said spoilers, but Johnny coming in at the end. And that I found out later on, they just rolled the camera and let them just ad lib. I was like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, That's even more embarrassing when that's your best scene that was ad
That's your
lib the
best
whole
scene,
time.
and that could have been a better movie. Just letting them ad lib their characters,
But
some kind of story that they made up.
yeah, there's some humor in the original one where Mr. Miyagi and
Mhm.
Daniel are connecting,
Right.
and there's some humor through that as
That's a
they
part of the
connect.
charm of the original.
That's
Was their
part of the charm. You can continue that, but you have to let it breathe a little. You just
Yeah.
rushed us into this, and then
Rushed
that's
it.
it's layered. A fight, more training. A fight, more training. No. I
You didn't get a
can't.
chance to, and that young kid that played is Ben Wang, I believe is his name.
Yeah,
Showed a lot of. I think he had a lot of potential. He would have been I think he could have been a great character if they had developed his character better and given him a better story.
well, they left him out to die to carry the movie for the
Mhm.
first hour, and that's what killed it for me. Because I was like,
Yeah.
why? I turned to my wife and went, "Why do I care about this?
They
Why do I
didn't.
care
Yeah.
about this right now? I don't care about this. A boxer trying to be a karate guy. This has nothing to do with Karate Kid. This is not,
Mhm.
this guy's already a master. He's already teaching someone, but
Yeah.
yet he needs to be trained.
Right. Oh,
on
just
the
there was stuff like that was made no sense.
on the foundation alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee trained Victor, says Adrian here. Made me
Mhm.
scratch my head. Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make any sense. But maybe the boxer, and here's the thing, what if the boxer trained him in boxing and then he used a boxing move to take him out? At least that would have been something
Right.
that
At
they
least it
could
would
have
have
shared there.
connected that a little bit in there. I don't know if they were like, because they had that Ralph Macchio has always talked about how they pitched him a Rocky meets Karate Kid movie that
Yeah.
he laughed at and said, no way, I'm doing that. I don't know if they were just dying to figure out a way to get boxing finally into the Karate Kid world in some way or
I
some
didn't
form
think
or
about
fashion.
that.
And they
I didn't think about that.
concocted this whole Joshua Jackson character as a washed up boxer character to kind of
I
pull that
wonder
in.
if that was someone's idea of a Rocky Karate Kid crossover, and they just kept that idea and
Yeah,
just shoehorned it into because it's
exactly.
obvious. It's obvious they had an idea for the second Jackie Chan movie that they never got to make.
Right.
So they're shoehorning that storyline in there.
They're
But then we
shoehorning that.
also,
Mhm.
we got to put in Daniel's character arc, and
Yeah.
it doesn't fit. But we'll just hammer these two pieces together and pretend they fit, and it just made for an awful train wreck. Now, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Sony made this movie, and Sony is going to Sony when it comes to these movies, these IPs. Sometimes look at Sony; they own some of or they have the rights to some of the Marvel stuff. They do some of the Marvel movies. They made the Venom movie. They made the Madam Web, which is now a lot of people agree is one of the worst superhero movies. Well, not only one of the worst Marvel movies to ever be made,
That's
but one of the
terrible.
worst superhero movies to ever be made. I think it got really it was in the below 20% score.
Oh, it's laughable. It's so bad. Yeah.
I actually watched it, and it is one of those movies that is one of the movies so bad it is laughable. It's almost as bad as the bad that's good because it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit entertaining for the
Comical,
badness.
yeah.
It's comical because sometimes bad can be just bland, but it was bad and comical. So I did see that part of its appeal, but that's the kind of movies that Sony's so inconsistent because Sony sometimes does hit it out of the park when they hired the right people. They executed the Spider-Verse animates, and those have been huge. Those two movies were huge successes, and they were groundbreaking, and they were really good Marvel movies. But then they have things like the one with the vampire movie. I'm trying to think of the name of it. They made that Marvel movie.
Morbius, yeah.
Yeah, the Morbius, and then the Madam Webs. Sony, and so what I think Sony'd with this movie, one of the things they did is insisting on filming this simultaneously during the final season of Cobra Kai, which would spread Ralph Macchio kind of thin.
Yeah.
He was filming this while he was filming Cobra Kai. And I mean, that ideally you're not getting the best out of the actor when you're putting him on that kind of schedule. And then they didn't have access to him as much as that's why he's barely in this movie. It's a whole hour, I think. Isn't it more than an hour before he even shows
it's like
up?
a whole hour. It's unbelievable how long they went without show. I mean, well, Jackie Chan goes to visit him very
that's
very early on.
Yeah, very early on, but then he's gone forever.
Then he's gone forever. But the thing is, though, you can tell that they obviously didn't have enough time to shoot. And
Yeah,
I'm just
they only had him for a short time for filming.
yeah, yeah.
He
And it's
came in
obvious
and
too.
shot all the stuff
Yeah,
probably in a week, and it was while he was filming Cobra Kai, so he had to be spread a little bit thin.
yeah.
I mean, Michael J. Fox filmed Back to the Future while he was shooting Family Ties, simultaneously, because he had to come in and take over, and they had to reshoot a bunch of stuff. Like because he was hired after the other actor was let go that was filming Back to the Future. And they there's a whole story about it. They really originally wanted Michael J. Fox, but Family Ties wouldn't let him out of his contract to go
You're
shoot
right.
back.
Right.
So they hired the other actor from Fly
Eric
2,
Stoltz. Yeah.
Eric Stoltz, and it just wasn't working with Eric Stoltz. They filmed all the stuff with Eric Stoltz. It was too dramatic. They wanted more quirky and comedic. So they finally went back to the Family Ties producers and begged them to let him shoot. And they finally made a deal that he could shoot Back to the Future at night and Family Ties during the day. And that works when you're like 20 something years old. You've got that energy. Ralph Macchio is how old is Ralph Macchio now? Is he almost 60?
Yeah, he's getting there.
He's super fit.
He's got to be 60.
And he's super fit and looks great for his age, but still, it's not Michael J. Fox in his early 20s tasking him to go shoot a movie and a series simultaneously. They would have gotten so much more out of him if they waited and did this movie later. There was no need to get this movie out so quickly, and because you still had good faith from Cobra Kai.
Agreed. So how would you have, because I have an idea of how I would have rewritten this. Right after we were gone, I said, I told my wife, I said, give me a day. I'll rewrite something better than this. And I came up with one, but let's hear what
I totally believe it.
Let's hear. Did you have an idea of what it should do? What could it have done to be better?
Well, first of all, I would have gotten the Cobra Kai team, and I would have hired them to do a movie. And I would have made that part of the contract. So we're going to do this movie, but we don't have to do this movie right away.
You instantly fix the movie right there.
Yeah. We'll do the movie. I would have done the movie a year after the show ended. I would have probably at least a year, just to give it time to breathe. People had already had the buzz of the finale. They came back too quick with these characters. I think people, you give it some time. You build up anticipation, excitement again for doing the movie. I would have waited a year. I might have waited a year and a half. You know what? Dare I even say I might have waited 2 years, and I would have taken my time and I would not rush this. I would have made Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan more in the movie more. They would have had bigger roles. Okay. And since Ralph Macchio wouldn't have been filming Cobra Kai, he would have had more time. He could have done more in this movie. I would have made it more significant. I would have included William Zabka in this because it's just better with William Zabka. Rocky is better with Sylvester Stallone, and this universe is just better with William Zabka. Okay. Mm-hmm. With him together with Ralph Macchio, where both of them are together. Agreed. I would have still taken I like the idea of taking the movie to a different location. I was great with that. Moving it to, I would have taken it maybe back to Okinawa, to Japan, someplace like that. And I would have made the story some more dramatic, like a real motivation to get Johnny and Danielson to go overseas and take on some matter of importance over there. And that there could have still been a tournament incorporated, but I think using the history of Mr. Miyagi, and I would have found some other angle in his dark past that comes up to the surface and sets things up for another movie. And then I would have had the Jackie Chan character be part of that. Just think how good Jackie Chan would have been with William Zabka and Danielson, the three as a trio.
Oh, agreed. That definitely would have elevated the movie.
Yeah, it could have been awesome. You do have to create new villains, new villains that would have been ominous and more ominous than Terry Silver. But you could have gone out and really spent some money too and gotten a big name actor to play the villain. Who would have been cool in this movie as a villain? I'm trying to think. They could have gone out and found a new martial arts sensei, baddie, that maybe had a connection to Mr. Miyagi's past. That could have been the new villain. I think could have gotten somebody good to do that. I don't know.
That's true.
One of the guys
well, you know what? Since this is redemption, you could have. Oh man. Yeah, no, I got an idea. So
okay,
all right. So I'm taking everything you put in there. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. One thing I would have done is I would have connected the two. I would have set set this not in New York, but in New Jersey. I'll explain why in a minute.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
The kid we keep the same story. Kid moves over, having some trouble. Jackie Chan comes to visit him because the mom requests he comes. So he's friends with the kid. Now he is stopping by a convenience store before seeing the kid and getting something, maybe a little present for the mom or whatnot, because Jackie Chan likes the mom. And he bumps into, who would it be? He bumps into Daniel. Now, he doesn't know Daniel LaRusso. Daniel LaRusso doesn't know him.
Yeah.
And it's a bump. It's a bump in coffee spills.
Okay.
And, Daniel gets a little heated. Daniel's like, hey, watch it. What is your problem, buddy? Daniel is there because, and guess what? We bring his mom back. See, his mom's brother passed away, Daniel's uncle. So they're in New Jersey where they were in the very first movie. We're taking it back to the very roots.
I love that.
They're in Jersey. And so they're going to the funeral. Now he calls his wife from Cobra Kai and tells her, hey, honey, sorry I couldn't go. Yeah, I know with the kids in school now, everything's crazy. I love you, but we'll be home soon. We're just going to say goodbye to Uncle So-and-so and leave. But then, of course, when he gets the coffee spilled on him by Jackie Chan, he gets a little upset. Then later on, their trails meet again as they bump. Something happens. Something goes wrong. He's like, you again? And he goes, hey, look. And he's like, hey, look, buddy, back off. Daniel kind of has a little bit of a flare temper. And then Jackie gets his fist ready to go. He said, I don't want to hurt you. He said, don't worry, pal. You can't. And maybe they do a little fight. So now we get to fight one of the fights, because it's all about, Cobra Kai was always about the dream matches from everyone.
Dream matches, yeah.
So the dream match here would be Daniel LaRusso versus Jackie Chan. Now, as they're fighting, Jackie Chan stops him. Maybe even gets a punch or kick to the nose, because it's Jackie Chan. Goes, oh. He went, Miyagi do karate. Because he recognizes the karate
I like that. See, already, this is better movie. I want to see this movie.
Hold on. So then Daniel says, did you just say Miyagi? And so then flashback, young Jackie Chan is a street punk, whatever, in Okinawa working. This is Karate Kid 2, working for, what's his name? From the villain from Karate Kid 2. Soto? No, it's Sato. Yeah. Okay. So he runs into Miyagi. Miyagi beats him and makes him rethink his life and tells him you're going nowhere. So Miyagi kind of saves him, tells him to rethink his life. And he always remembered that.
Yeah.
And kept in touch with Miyagi over the years, thanking him for changing his life. So he thanks Daniel. They hang out, they exchange numbers. And next time, Jackie Chan's in California, give me a call. Well, then Daniel leaves. Of course, Jackie Chan is having issues with the boy, understands he can't teach him everything, realizes, wait a minute, let me call this Daniel guy and see if he can come back to Jersey. And he's like, and maybe it's a funny scene where Daniel gets off the phone and goes, hey, are you here? Oh, I just got in. You want me back? So he has to hop a plane right back to come train him. But he agrees to do that because he said, your sensei can have that calming effect. I know that's in you. You were his prize student, because he'd gotten letters from Miyagi talking about how great Daniel was. And so Daniel agrees to come and they train him together. But there's a push and pull, kind of like Johnny, but not as rude and crude. Jackie Chan insists this is the best way. And he says, this is the best way. And then maybe they do another fight, on one of the rooftops. But then both hurt each other and go, okay, both of this, we need to meet in the middle here. And so then they have to learn to work together with each other in order to train him properly. Like they're training him two different ways.
Yeah.
There's two different ways, and it's just messing him up and making him worse. So instead, they decide to work together instead of separately. Something a little bit different, but they do teamwork. You can still have the girl at the pizza place who's trying to impress you. You can still have the bully aspect in there. You got to have something to build this kid up. But give him Jackie Chan and Daniel. And if you need a villain, watch this. When they go to the tournament, Daniel's old friend. Remember, Daniel said he took a few karate lessons back in the day in Karate Kid 1. Okay. Well, who did he take karate with? Well, he took karate with another friend of his who's grown up, and now he owns the dojo. Now, this guy doesn't know the kind karate. He just knows the
Mm-hmm.
punk hit, all that Daniel thought karate was about. And so, and that one can be. Let's look at a kind of older, in a way, washed up action hero. Let's grab Wesley Snipes. Is his friend Wesley Snipes?
Yeah,
would love to be in a movie like this. Start building those dominoes to get that career going again. Plus, he can do the action, he can do the kicks and whatnot.
Yeah,
but it's his son who is the bad guy, the arch nemesis of the new kid from Legends, and it's those two going at it.
Yeah,
and this son is brute strength, a little bit tenacious like a tiger and whatnot. So that way, you kind of have a little more smoother storyline, in my opinion, that gels better, grows. It doesn't just become rushed, but doesn't leave that new kid out to just. I felt they left him out to dry, just hanging.
Yeah.
Just to try to. He had to carry this movie for a full hour.
I feel bad for. I felt awful for the kid.
Who was the audience? The audience was me and you.
Yeah.
It wasn't new kids who don't know what Karate Kid is. It was me and you bringing our kids, maybe, but me and you, and we're going, who is this kid?
Yeah.
We don't know him. We don't even like him. We want to see Jackie Chan. We want to see Daniel. We don't want to see this guy. And so sadly, and I agree with you, is fine and everything, but this movie just tried to cram two different movies into one, did an awful job of it. And this is what I hate. Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid franchise, on a high, in my opinion, Legends killed it. Legends just killed it again.
Yeah.
It's like the next Karate Kid again.
Yeah, and now it's like, is that going to hurt and taint any potential if they want to come back later and do another, season of, like, they want to do a comeback season?
I would hope not. I would hope lessons were learned. But the thing is, though, I remember watching Cobra Kai and saying, you know what I'm most thankful for? That if this is how the whole legacy ends, the franchise ends, at least it didn't end on the next Karate Kid.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you which is worse, Karate Kid Legends or the next Karate Kid? Which is now your least favorite Karate Kid movie?
That's a great question, but it's going to be next Karate Kid because
it's still the lowest. Yeah,
there's still one good scene at the end of Legends when Johnny's there,
the redeeming, the one
they just jump into it, and it feels it was natural, but it feels natural too. My wife and I were laughing. Miyagi pizza, whatever, onions on, anchovies off. I was like, get out of here, shut up. I mean, he just kept making all these jokes,
right?
And I was like, dude, that was funny. My wife and I laughed at that.
Oh yeah, at least they left it on a high note with the mid credit scene. Backing up a little bit, or on the Cobra Kai topic, there was one other huge breakout star, and it's not who we expected from that show. Mr. Paul Walter Hauser, who played Ed, is in everything now since Cobra Kai.
Now, really?
He's in so many movies. He was in the new Naked Gun movie and had the third biggest part in the movie after Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. He's the third biggest part. He plays the guy that was one of the white-haired guy who was part of the original Naked Gun. The white-haired guy, not Liam, not Leslie Nielsen, but the more full, like, thicker guy.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but
one of his buddies from the Force. He plays that character's son. In this movie. And then he's in a bunch of movies. He's in a bunch of stuff right now. I've seen. Oh, he popped up in the Fantastic Four. He's in the new Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, wow.
And in all these movies, he's playing, supporting roles, like he's character actor, supporting roles, kind of funny. He's always the funny sidekick or kind of a funny character in one of these movies, but he's getting a lot of work. He's doing something in Hollywood, right?
That's great.
And I would not have seen that coming, but I mean, he was a nice little side character that kind of grew on me in Cobra Kai. At first, I wasn't so sure about him, but as the show went on, and he kind of participated in some other stuff later.
I feel if we're going to go back and just mention Cobra Kai, one storyline that was really good, but then the writers kind of failed him was Hawk.
Yeah.
Hawk has one of the greatest arcs ever in the first
Yeah.
season. It's
Yeah.
so good. And
Right.
they do a few more things with him in 2 and 3.
Right.
But after a while, it felt like they ran out of ideas
They
for
drifted a
the
little
poor
bit.
kid
Yeah.
who they just didn't have any storyline for. And there's like other
Mhm.
things too, like obviously, and I started making jokes in the last 2 seasons. Daniel's son is hardly in it
Right.
because the writers literally have nothing for him to do. He
Right.
pops up here and there.
Mhm.
Sometimes when they're I remember one time they were at a family dinner and that actor wasn't even at the table because he didn't have any speaking lines. I guess they didn't need him
Mhm.
that day. But it's
Mhm.
like, well, do you know your son's missing right now? Because I mean, they hardly had the son in it for the last 2. And when they did bring him back for whatever, it's a stupid little pointless storyline where he pisses his
Right.
pants. Ha ha.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, so there's a lot of hit and misses. They tried to create too many side characters a little bit. The
That
kids
was
kind of got
yeah.
overburdened.
That was a problem with, at least I think it was the next to last season in particular. I noticed it started to get kind of crowded, and that was one of the nitpicks I had too. Is
Yeah.
it started to feel a little. That happened to Stranger Things too. In the later
Oh man.
in the
Yes.
last season of Stranger Things, it started to get a little crowded with all these new characters they were bringing in the original. So that
Right.
happens to
Right.
some shows sometimes. But yeah, it did happen. Um, I definitely liked what they did with the final season. Um, I remember when we had our first talk about it. I think we talked about Cobra Kai maybe by the second and third season. We definitely had some talks, and we were trying to predict how long the show could go on. And it definitely they stretched it, um, and kept it strong. Like the last season, I still highly entertaining. That final season,
Oh yeah.
a lot of surprises, and I mean the way they finished off Silver and Crease
Oh
and tied
man.
and
So good.
the way and you think about it, it was the perfect ending. Because at first I was like, "How do I feel about that? How do I feel about the way they ended their story?" And then I thought about it, as like, it's actually the way they would have wanted to go,
Yeah.
those
Yes.
characters.
Yes, it is.
Because didn't they introduce a storyline with Kreese was had cancer or was sick, was dying? It
Right.
was revealed he was dying, or no, that was Silver. They revealed Silver
Silver.
was
Yeah.
dying, and so it put some sympathy on his character. We start suddenly find out he's dying, and he's just trying to get that last breath of victory and joy in
Right.
his life of finally winning the big tournament and not looking like, like this failure, which
Right.
was him, as like the worst thing ever. And then Crease, having this anger still towards Silver. Neither one of those characters would want to go out sad, old,
Yeah.
sick, sad, and old, and have people feeling sorry for him. The way
Exactly.
they want to go out fighting till the very end with the fiery explosion,
Go out big. Go
go out
big. I agree.
going to war with each other, going to war with whoever is in front of them. They were both soldiers.
Yep.
They want to go out, and that for them, that's going out with honor. They took they gave their characters the best ending they could give them.
They really did. They really did. But then here we are on a stream about Legends talking about Cobra Kai.
Yeah, because it's just the better show. I mean, the better property, the better written version of this universe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Legends not as bad for you as the next Karate Kid. I haven't watched Next Karate Kid in a number of years. I would be interested to see, but I agree it was not as boring as the Next Karate Kid, because I thought there was times
Right.
the Next Karate Kid felt a little bland in some areas.
A lot
And
bland. Yeah.
yeah, and I will say that, okay, this movie, while it wasn't nearly as well written and as exciting and even as well edited and well executed as Cobra Kai, not even close. At least I didn't get. I mean, it wasn't as bland. So
Yeah.
for that, I
No,
agree. Still,
yeah.
Next Karate Kid would still fall below this for
Still
me
not
too.
bad. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
it had some okay moments, but
yeah,
overall, very disappointing
mhm,
that they took all the good graces that Cobra Kai did to kind of uplift the show and
yeah,
just kind of set it down again, just for their own
yeah,
self. They wanted to write their own sequel, and they can't do it right.
yeah.
So, and the thing is, will that destroy Karate Kid in future movies?
I
Who
hope
knows?
not. I hope
I
not.
hope
We
not
don't
too.
know.
I hope not too. But anyway, all right. So
Mhm.
we'll wrap. But go ahead, tell us about Thunder Pop. Give give a commercial,
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, so Thunderpop TV, and I'm on Instagram at Thunderpop TV. I post new short form content every day on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, but I spend most of my time on Instagram. I'm also on I give Instagram the most love because Instagram gives me the most love as far as platforms. But I also am on now on YouTube Shorts, which is
Yep.
fairly new. I have two different YouTube channels, but the one I've been posting content on more recently is the Shorts channel, and that's at Thunderpop TV also at YouTube. And I post some stuff on there. I take the best stuff off the Instagram, whatever got the best response, and I repurpose it, put it
Repurpose
on
over there.
YouTube Shorts. You can also watch I haven't live streamed or podcasted lately, but I do have a residency on local radio. I'm on weekly on the JB and Sandy show in Austin Market, but they do take my segment that I do with them and they put it on Spotify. So you can find me on the JB and Sandy show under Thunderpop TV, Stephen Presley at those areas. I'm not doing my podcast has been I've been on ice for a while, live stream, but I'm working behind the scenes on revitalizing that in the near future. So
Good.
there I
There
am.
you go. Folks,
Thank
check
you.
it out. Check it out. Check it out. And thank you for coming on. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we could have
All right.
probably found that more like we could have gone on for probably done a all nighter on this.
Oh man, on
topic.
Cobra Kai, we could go all day on that. Yeah, for
Cobra Kai
sure.
definitely breaking down all the different things. Cobra Kai, yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, folks, all right. So there's our thoughts about Karate Kid Legends, and we will see you next time. Everyone have a good night.
Good night.
Ta-ta.